The gentle, rhythmic hum of an industrial floor polisher is a familiar, almost soothing sound. It's the sound of a job being done, of a workplace functioning as it should. We open on an extreme close-up of a freshly waxed linoleum floor, the reflection of the fluorescent lights above, shimmering like a liquid mirror. This is the stage. It's pristine. It's perfect. And in moments, it will become the center of a story. A story of pain, of claims, of a life allegedly derailed by a single misstep. But this is not a story about an accident. This is a story about a performance. We are about to witness the anatomy of a staged fall. This is where the script was written, not by fate, but by intention. The character in our story, let's call her Sarah Jenkins for now, moves into the frame. She's a warehouse employee, seen walking across this same, seemingly treacherous floor just minutes before, without a care in the world. She carries a small, lightweight box. Her posture is relaxed. There is no caution in her step, no wariness of the environment. She is, for all intents and purposes, simply going about her day. Then she exits the frame. The clock on the CCTV timestamp ticks forward. 10:14:32 a.m. She re-enters. This time without the box. Her pace is different. It's slower, more deliberate. She approaches the center of the open floor, a vast expanse of nothing but slick-looking surface. She glances around, a quick, almost imperceptible survey of her surroundings. Are there witnesses? Is the coast clear? The unblinking eye of the camera continues its silent vigil. It sees everything, but it says nothing. It simply records. It collects CCTV receipts. And then it happens. It's not a sudden, chaotic slip. It's a controlled, almost graceful descent. A slow-motion crumple. One leg gives way, the other follows, and she lands on the floor with a quiet thud that the microphone barely picks up. There is no flailing of arms, no desperate grab for a nearby railing that isn't there. It is a quiet surrender to gravity. She lies there for a moment, still. And then the performance begins anew. She clutches her lower back. A mask of pain contorts her features. The perfect victim of a perfect accident. But the camera saw what human eyes did not. It saw the survey of the area. It saw the deliberate pace. It saw the controlled nature of the fall. It captured the red flag, waving silently in the digital ether. This footage is the bedrock of our investigation today. It is the first and most crucial piece of evidence in a case built not on hearsay, but on cold, hard, visual fact. This is the moment a simple insurance claim transformed into a fraud file. This is not just a video, it's a receipt. A CCTV receipt of truth. Hey, this story's stirring up some outrage on your side of the screen, isn't it? If it is, do me a crucial favor. Comment which state you're watching from, and tell me the exact moment that made your blood boil the most in this case. That way, I'll know you're truly connected to our mission, exposing these fraudsters and bringing justice to light. And listen to this. 96.3% of the people following these investigations still aren't subscribed to the channel. If you're not part of that group, I'm inviting you to subscribe right now. It's completely free, and you'll keep getting the most explosive stories of fraudsters being exposed, straight to your feed. Also, remember, at the end of this video, you'll find even more shocking cases waiting for you on your screen. We begin with this scene because it is the genesis of everything that follows. The fall, as we've just seen it, is the catalyst. But a single moment on camera is just a fragment of the story. The true architecture of this deception was built in the days and weeks that followed, meticulously constructed with paper and false statements. The fall was the opening act. What came next was the elaborate presentation of a case, a web of 5 specific lies designed to extract a significant financial payout from the system. This is where we must turn our attention next, to the official record, to the claim itself. How does a simple fall become a 6-figure demand? What are the specific allegations that transform an incident into a lawsuit? The answer lies in the documents, the fraud files that were meant to be a roadmap to compensation, but would ultimately become a roadmap to her conviction. The pristine, almost sterile environment of the corporate office is a world away from the warehouse floor. Here, the drama unfolds not in physical space, but on paper and in digital forms. This is the domain of the claim adjuster, a professional detective of misfortune whose job is to piece together the narrative of an injury from the fragments of paperwork that follow it. The incident we witnessed, the staged fall, has now been translated into the cold, bureaucratic language of a workers' compensation claim. This is the anatomy of a claim. The file for case code 739B is opened. It is, on the surface, a compelling and tragic story. Sarah Jenkins, through her legal representation, has presented a narrative of a life shattered by a single, unpreventable accident. The claim is a masterpiece of victimhood, built upon 5 core pillars, 5 specific lies that form the foundation of her demand for compensation. Let us examine them one by one as they were officially submitted. This is the story she wanted the system to believe. Lie number 1. The unavoidably hazardous floor. The claim form describes the floor as unusually and dangerously slick, a veritable ice rink due to a recent and improper waxing. It alleges a complete failure by the employer to provide a safe working environment, a direct violation of safety protocols. The document paints a picture of a trap lying in wait for any unsuspecting employee. It's a powerful image, designed to shift all liability squarely onto the company. Lie number 2. The immediate and excruciating pain. According to the initial injury report and subsequent medical questionnaires, Jenkins claimed to have experienced immediate, sharp, and debilitating pain in her lower back and right knee the moment she hit the ground. She described a white-hot searing sensation, leaving her utterly incapacitated and unable to move without assistance. This lie is crucial. It establishes the severity and the direct causation of the injury from the fall itself. Lie number 3. The total disability and its impact. This is where the financial stakes skyrocket. The claim asserts that Jenkins suffered a total disability, rendering her completely unable to perform any of her job duties, or any form of gainful employment for that matter. Accompanying this are detailed calculations for lost wages, future earning potential, and a life of permanent limitations. It's a claim designed to secure a long-term, if not lifelong, financial payout. But then we arrive at the lie that would begin the unraveling. The lie that, upon closer inspection, didn't just bend the truth, but snapped it in half. Lie number 4. The lone and helpless victim. In her deposition outline and repeated to her doctors, Jenkins was adamant. She stated under oath, "I was completely alone on that floor. There was no one around to see me fall, no one to help me. I had to lie there in agony for what felt like an eternity before I could even try to call for help." This statement was intended to underscore her vulnerability and the sheer chance that someone eventually stumbled upon her. It was meant to eliminate witnesses who could contradict her version of the event. It was a calculated move to control the narrative. Lie number 5. The pre-existing agony. To preempt any investigation into her medical history, the claim strategically addressed it. Jenkins asserted she had no prior history of back or knee issues whatsoever. She presented herself as a picture of perfect musculoskeletal health before the fall, making any subsequent problems indisputably linked to the workplace incident. This lie was the final seal on her fabricated reality, designed to block off a major avenue of investigation. These 5 lies, taken together, created a seemingly airtight case. It was a story of a good employee, betrayed by her employer's negligence, suffering a life-altering injury in solitary agony. It was a story designed to trigger empathy and a swift settlement. The fraud files were complete. The trap was set. But what happens when an unblinking, dispassionate witness is introduced into this carefully constructed narrative? What happens when you have CCTV receipts? The claim adjuster, reviewing this file, had a gut feeling. A red flag was waving, not just from the theatrical nature of the fall we've already seen, but from the sheer perfection of this victim narrative. It was too clean, too tragic. And so, they uttered the 3 words that break fraudsters. "Show me the footage." The digital file lands in the claims adjuster's inbox with a quiet ping. It is not a dramatic moment, but a procedural one. A request for evidence fulfilled. This file contains the raw, unedited footage from the warehouse's CCTV system for the day and time in question. This is the moment of truth. This is where the paper narrative of the fraud files collides head-on with the immutable reality of the CCTV receipts. The adjuster clicks play. The first thing that strikes any seasoned investigator is the silence. The footage has no sound, no emotional score. It is a purely visual record, devoid of the claimant's described white-hot searing sensation or cries for help. It simply is. The initial viewing confirms what we saw in Section 1, the staged fall, the controlled descent, the glancing survey of the area. It's a powerful piece of evidence, but it's only the beginning. The real dismantling of the 5 lies begins with a meticulous frame-by-frame analysis, cross-referencing every statement from the claim with the visual timeline. Let's go through them, one by one. Lie number 1, the unavoidably hazardous floor. The footage provides a devastating rebuttal. For the 30 minutes preceding the incident, no fewer than 7 other employees traverse the exact same area of the floor. They walk at a normal pace. They push carts. They carry items. Not a single one of them slips, stumbles, or shows any sign of instability. The floor, as evidenced by the unremarkable passage of dozens of footsteps, was simply a floor. The CCTV receipts show a normal, functional work environment, directly contradicting the claim of a dangerously defective condition. Lie number 2, the immediate and excruciating pain. This is where the footage becomes truly damning. Recall the moment of the fall, the controlled, almost gentle crumple. But watch what happens next. After lying still for approximately 12 seconds, Jenkins lifts her head. She doesn't clutch her back in agony. Instead, she carefully, deliberately, pushes herself up into a sitting position. There is no grimace, no strained movement. She then gets to her feet, under her own power, without using her arms for leverage on the floor. A physical impossibility for someone who has just suffered a debilitating back injury. She brushes off her pants, and then she walks away. Her gait is normal, unhurried, and shows no discernible limp or favor to either leg. The entire sequence, from fall to walking away, takes less than 60 seconds. This is not the behavior of someone in immediate and excruciating pain. This is the behavior of someone who has just completed a task and is moving on to the next one. But the most critical dismantling, the one that serves as the linchpin for the entire investigation, concerns lie number 4. The lone and helpless victim. The claim stated she was completely alone. The CCTV receipts prove this was a deliberate falsehood. At the far edge of the frame, at the 10:14 to 15 a.m. timestamp, a mere 17 seconds before her fall, a colleague, identified as Mark, enters the background. He is approximately 50 feet away, stacking boxes on a shelf. He has a direct line of sight to the area where Jenkins performs her fall. She is not alone. She is being watched. The footage shows that after she gets up and walks away, she doesn't seek out this colleague for help. She doesn't call out in pain. She walks directly past him, offering a slight, casual wave. He waves back. There is no exchange of concern, no alarm. This single piece of visual evidence does more than just contradict a statement. It proves intent. She knew she was not alone, yet she claimed she was. This was not a mistake or a faulty memory. This was a calculated lie to eliminate a potential witness who could testify to her lack of distress immediately after the incident. Proof before hype. The footage doesn't need to shout. It just needs to be seen. The red flag is no longer a subtle warning. It is a blazing siren. The paper case has been eviscerated by the digital eye. The adjuster now possesses incontrovertible proof that the core of the claimant's story is a fabrication. But this is just the internal discovery. The real confrontation, the moment these CCTV receipts are unleashed in a formal, legal setting, is yet to come. The stage is now set for a deposition, where words given under oath will be placed directly next to the silent testimony of the tape. The CCTV receipts have done their job. Inside the insurance company's offices, the case has been completely recategorized. This is no longer a questionable injury claim. It is now a confirmed fraud file. The adjuster's role shifts from evaluator to investigator, and a specific, formal protocol is activated. This is the Red Flag Protocol, a systematic process for dealing with suspected fraud, designed to build an ironclad case for the legal battles ahead. The first step in the protocol is preservation and isolation. The original CCTV footage is immediately copied and stored in a secure, digital evidence locker. A chain of custody document is created, logging every person who accesses the file. This is crucial for court admissibility. The claim itself is flagged internally, preventing any accidental settlement or communication that could compromise the investigation. The goal is to proceed as if every action from this point forward will be scrutinized by a judge. This is the essence of proof before hype. The second step is the background mosaic. With the visual evidence secured, the investigation widens. The adjuster, now working closely with the Special Investigations Unit, SIU, begins constructing a detailed timeline of the claimant's life, both before and after the incident. This is where lie number 5, the no prior history claim, is put to the test. Through legally permissible means, they uncover a treasure trove of contradictory evidence. Social media posts from just 2 weeks before the staged fall show Jenkins on a vigorous hiking trip. Even more damningly, they subpoena medical records from a different healthcare provider, revealing she had been treated for chronic lower back pain for years, a fact she deliberately concealed on her claim forms. This isn't just a lie of omission, it's material misrepresentation. But the protocol's most critical tactical move is the decision of when and how to reveal the investigation's hand. The SIU decides on a strategy of containment and confrontation. They do not immediately alert Jenkins or her attorney to their findings. Instead, they allow the standard legal process to proceed, specifically the deposition. The Red Flag Protocol often dictates allowing the claimant to lock themselves into their story under oath, creating a perjury trap from which there is no escape. They are building a box, and every lie she tells is another nail in its lid. This phase is meticulous, quiet, and procedural. There are no dramatic courtroom revelations yet. It is the painstaking work of building an unassailable fortress of facts. The investigator's desk becomes a war room. On one side, the fraud files, the claimant's fictional narrative of agony and disability. On the other, the growing pile of CCTV receipts, time-stamped social media prints, and contradictory medical histories. The two versions of reality cannot coexist. One is about to annihilate the other. The key is patience. The system must allow the deception to reach its peak, to be formalized in a legal transcript before bringing it all crashing down. The red flag has been seen, the protocol is in motion, and the stage is now set for the claimant to walk into a room and, under penalty of perjury, commit career-ending perjury. The deposition is not just a fact-finding mission. It is the springing of the trap. The deposition room is a deliberately neutral space. Beige walls, a long wooden table, the faint smell of stale coffee. It is a room designed to strip away emotion and focus on the cold, hard record of words given under oath. Sarah Jenkins sits beside her attorney, projecting an air of pained resilience. Across from her sits the insurance company's lawyer, a picture of calm preparedness. The court reporter's fingers hover over the stenography machine, ready to transcribe every syllable into the official record. This is the moment where the fraud files meet the force of law. This is the deposition, a web of lies. The attorney begins gently, allowing Jenkins to tell her story, and she does, with rehearsed conviction. She describes the unusually slick floor. She details the immediate searing pain that shot through her back. She speaks of her total disability and the devastating impact on her life. She paints a vivid picture of solitude and helplessness on that cold floor. Each statement is a reiteration of the 5 lies, now being cemented into the legal record. Then the tone shifts. The attorney's questions become more precise, more targeted. Miss Jenkins, let's return to the moment immediately after your fall. You've stated you were in immediate, excruciating pain. Is that correct? Yes, she affirms, her voice a low whisper. It was unbearable. And you were completely alone on that section of the floor? There was no one else in your immediate vicinity who could have witnessed the event or come to your aid. This is the question. The one concerning lie number 4. Jenkins doesn't hesitate. She looks the attorney directly in the eye. No one. I was completely alone. I had to lie there for, I don't know how long, just trying to cope with the pain before I could even think about moving. The attorney makes a note. The trap has been sprung, but it remains invisible to her. She has just perjured herself. The CCTV receipts show her colleague, Mark, clear as day, a mere 50 feet away. They show her getting up and walking casually away. The attorney then moves to her medical history. Prior to this incident, had you ever experienced or sought treatment for any back pain, knee issues, or similar musculoskeletal problems? Never, Jenkins states firmly, locking in lie number 5. I was perfectly healthy. My back was fine before that fall. The attorney does not reveal the medical records they've subpoenaed. He does not show her the social media photos of her hiking. He simply logs the perjury. The web is being woven tighter. This is the critical function of the deposition in a fraud case. It's not about catching the liar in the room. It's about letting them dig their own grave on the official transcript. Every false statement is another count of perjury, another nail in the coffin of their credibility. The attorney's job is to get the claimant to commit, unequivocally, to their fabricated version of events. Proof before hype. The dramatic reveal is saved for a more powerful audience. By the end of the deposition, Jenkins and her attorney likely feel a sense of accomplishment. They believe they have presented a strong, consistent case. They have no idea that the silent, unblinking witness, the CCTV camera, has already testified, and its testimony completely obliterates every key point they just made. The web of lies is now complete, documented in a legal transcript, and waiting for the one force that can shatter it. The truth presented in a courtroom. The stage is set for the courtroom reckoning. The atmosphere in the courtroom is thick with a different quality of silence. It's not the sterile quiet of the deposition room. This silence is heavy, anticipatory. It is the silence of judgment. The Honorable Judge Wilkins presides, his expression unreadable. This is the arena where narratives go to die, where stories are stress-tested against the unyielding standard of evidence. The fraud files, now swollen with the deposition transcript, sit before him. But today, they will not be the focus. Today is about the CCTV receipts. This is the courtroom reckoning, the gavel drop. The insurance company's attorney approaches the podium. His opening is methodical, laying out the timeline of the claim. He then turns to the heart of the matter. Your Honor, the claimant has testified under oath to a series of specific facts. The evidence we are about to present will demonstrate that these facts are not merely mistaken, but are deliberate fabrications. A large screen flickers to life in the courtroom. The first clip plays, employees walking normally across the hazardously slick floor. Lie number 1, dismantled without a word. The second clip plays, the staged fall in all its controlled, deliberate glory, followed by Jenkins getting up and walking away normally. Lie number 2, eviscerated. A murmur ripples through the room. Jenkins shifts uncomfortably in her seat. Then the attorney addresses lie number 4, the cornerstone of her solitude and helplessness. Your Honor, the claimant was adamant. She stated under oath, and I quote from the deposition transcript, I was completely alone. There was no one around to see me fall. He pauses, letting the weight of the sworn statement settle in the room. We would now like to enter into Evidence Exhibit 12, a enhanced still from the CCTV footage at timestamp 10:14:18 a.m. The screen changes. It's a crystal clear frozen image of the warehouse floor. In the foreground, Jenkins is beginning her descent. And in the background, unmistakably, is her colleague Mark, looking directly in her direction. The claimant was not alone, the attorney states, his voice flat and factual. She was observed. Jenkins's attorney objects, But it's a weak procedural gesture. The evidence is what it is. Then comes the moment. The gavel drop moment. The attorney doesn't shout. He doesn't accuse. He simply turns to Jenkins and asks her, on the record, in front of the judge, to reconcile her sworn testimony with the image on the screen. Ms. Jenkins, can you please explain to the court how your statement of being completely alone is consistent with this photograph? This is lie number 4, exposed live in court. She freezes. Her mouth opens, but no sound comes out. She looks at her attorney, then at the judge, then at the damning image. There is no explanation. There is no way to spin it. The lie is not just a lie. It is a provable, intentional act of perjury, laid bare for the court to see. Judge Wilkins leans forward, his eyes fixed on Jenkins. He doesn't need to wait for her answer. The evidence is incontrovertible. The court sees the discrepancy, he says, his voice a low rumble of authority. A significant discrepancy. This is the exposure. This is the reckoning. That single silent image didn't just disprove one lie, it exposed the entire fraudulent enterprise. If she lied so blatantly about this, what else was a lie? Her pain? Her disability? Her entire claim? The gavel drop is both literal and metaphorical. In that moment, the judge's perception of the case shifts irrevocably. The claimant's credibility is not just damaged, it is annihilated. The facade crumbles in real time, live in court. The courtroom reckoning is complete. All that remains is to render the formal judgment, to compile the verdict reel. The drama of the live courtroom exposure fades, replaced by the procedural machinery of justice. The gavel drop in Judge Wilkins's courtroom was the climax, but the story requires a denouement. This is where the consequences are quantified, where the fraud file is stamped with its final, official designation. This is the verdict reel, justice rendered. In the weeks following the damning presentation of the CCTV receipts, the legal process moved with swift and decisive finality. Jenkins's legal team, recognizing the utter annihilation of their client's credibility, had few options. The evidence was not circumstantial. It was visual, time-stamped, and irrefutable. A CCTV receipt is a hard thing to argue against. The defense of "I forgot I wasn't alone" holds no weight against a high-definition image that proves otherwise. The final hearing was a formality. Judge Wilkins's ruling was comprehensive and scathing. He began by methodically dismantling each of the 5 lies, using the footage and the deposition transcript as his guide. On the hazardous floor, the visual evidence conclusively demonstrates a normally functioning work environment. The claim of a uniquely dangerous condition is not supported by fact. Thus, on the immediate and excruciating pain. The claimant's behavior immediately post-fall, specifically rising unassisted and walking with a normal gait, is wholly inconsistent with the alleged severity of the injury. On the total disability, the evidence of pre-existing activities and the post-incident behavior renders the claim of total disability not credible. On the lone and helpless victim, the claimant's sworn testimony on this critical point was directly and incontrovertibly contradicted by Exhibit 12. This goes to the heart of the claimant's credibility. On the no prior history, medical records obtained during the investigation confirm a history of treatment for the very ailments now claimed to be solely the result of this incident. The judgment was a total victory for the defense. Sarah Jenkins' workers' compensation claim was denied in its entirety. She received $0 for lost wages, $0 for medical expenses, and $0 for any purported permanent disability. But the financial fallout was only the beginning. Judge Wilkins, citing the egregious and premeditated nature of the fraud, specifically the perjury committed during the deposition, referred the case to the district attorney's office for criminal prosecution. The verdict reel did not stop at a dismissed claim. It spun into the realm of criminal charges. Jenkins was subsequently charged with 1 count of insurance fraud, a felony, and 1 count of perjury, a felony. Facing the prospect of a trial and potential prison time, she accepted a plea deal. The final entry in the verdict reel reads as follows: A guilty plea to felony insurance fraud, resulting in 2 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, and a court order to repay all investigative costs incurred by the insurance company, a sum totaling over $28,000. She became a convicted felon. Her name is now entered into national insurance fraud databases, making it profoundly difficult to secure future insurance or certain types of employment. The case code 739B was closed. The system, when presented with the truth, worked exactly as it was designed to, protecting the resources meant for the truly injured. It was a victory for the honest payer. So, what is the moral of this story? It's not simply that crime doesn't pay, it's that the tools of truth have evolved. The liar no longer operates only in the shadows of hearsay and conflicting statements. They now perform on a digital stage, under the unblinking gaze of a lens that never forgets, that never exaggerates, and that never lies. This case is a testament to a new era of accountability. We began by talking about hereges. Quem, ideologicamente, atacamos. We attack the heresy of deceit, the ideology that preys on a system built on good faith, the belief that a story, well told, is enough to beat the system. We are the archivists of reality. We are the ones who, when presented with a tragic tale, ask the simple, powerful question, show me the footage. This entire video is a CCTV receipt. It is a receipt for the price of fraud. It is a receipt for the moment a lie was exposed live in court. It is a receipt for the justice that was ultimately served. Let this be a lesson to anyone who would consider following this path. Your performance will be recorded. Your lines will be scrutinized. And the gavel drop of justice will be louder than your most convincing cry of pain. This channel exists for the honest payer, for the individual and the business who fund this system, demanding integrity in return. Your vigilance is our mandate. Your demand for truth is our script. This was a receipt. The next time someone tries to stage a fall, we'll be there, footage in hand. Your move. Gavel down.